a lot of stupid stuff going on in the world. I want to be stupid too.
You're listening to Morning Madness, a podcast for patrons of The Joe Cronin Show.
Good morning to all you patrons, you psychotic patrons of The Joe Cronin Show. And welcome to Morning Madness, episode 1. We did the pilot last week. But now it's the real thing. I just got done with so much shit this weekend. It's almost unbelievable. We're talking about the stream for Texas. We think we're going to give the money to the Jay Cutler. I mean, not Jay Cutler. The Watt. Jesus, JJ Watt. Was it him that running the charity? I don't know. There's a bunch of different charities, but I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the JJ Watt one. That seems to be the popular opinion. We did Corrupted Podcast right here on Patreon. So if you guys are listening to this show right now, it means you're at least a $5 patron. That means you heard the Corrupted Podcast too. And it's 3 hours. And that was epic. Monetized this on Friday night was insane. Tommy is banned for a month. There's just so much shit that went down on Monetize This. Between Monetize This, Corrupted the next night, having fun on the stream, doing the charity stream thing on Diablo earlier, Ken's show now, and just everything that happened. Like, this was you talk about action-packed weekend. So, first of all, Renee Young is taking JBL's spot. I got to make a video about that on the main channel. I guess Renee Young's taking the spot of JBL. Third woman in, which I think is stupid, because now we got a face woman, a face commentator, and then Byron Saxon. Right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know that I'm glad that Renee Young got in there. I thought she should eventually. People wanted her in there and stuff. But I just think it's going to be very boring. You know, this is going to be a boring crew. They should have put a heel in there. A real heel, though. Like, JBL wasn't going full heel. I'm just mad they didn't put me in. Let's just face it. Put me on that show and we'll get the ratings up, you know? When's the last time a commentator made the ratings go up? Somebody else could do it, too. You could book somebody else to do it, right? Well, check this out. A man dies after rushing into Burning Man festival flames. So I guess there's this festival and the Burning Man with that looks like a stick figure on top of a spaceship. A man rushed past layers of security officers into a massive fire at a Burning Man festival. It's a signature ceremony, suffering burns that left him dead just hours later. Oh my God! Dude, that's the worst way to die ever. You ran into a burning fiery pit of shit, and you lived, and you died later from the suffering the burns. That's like the dumbest and worst way to die that I think I've ever heard of. And they say we don't know if it was intentional or if he was just introduced to drugs. Okay, it's got to be drugs. Who the fuck runs into a flaming, who does that, right? And then you live. That should be they should get the video of that out there. Be like, see, kids, Molly is not good. Molly will make you run into a goddamn Burning Man whatever the fuck that even is, I don't know. And you'll die. You will die. So don't do Molly. You listening, kids? Don't do Molly. I just picture the guy being I don't know, ah, and screaming even louder after he runs out of it. I wonder if he came right off the high, whatever was jacking him up. So another thing that happened earlier today was Tommy NC. I'm trying to find it now if I can pull it up. What the hell are you looking for? Oh, I think it's out in the kitchen. Just avoid the gum. Tommy NC. So I was doing my stream earlier, right? I'm doing my Diablo stream. Everything is fine. I'm doing my Diablo stream, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I start getting like a million messages a second. People are like freaking out. They're like, Joe, do you know what Tommy's doing right now? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's interviewing this girl, the racist girl, the Nazi girl. And I'm like, what Nazi girl? And I'm like, is he talking about the guy, the girl that Leafy is here made a video on? Leafy is here made a video on this girl, like the most racist or something girl on the internet. And she's like this younger girl, like 18, 19. And she like makes videos like, oh, I love Nazis and I love Hitler and I hate Jews, and or like Jews are ugly, and she says the N-word all the time and stuff. And like she's known for being this awful person. And I go over to Tommy's stream and he's just like shitty chatting with her, like, oh, you're a good person, and why does Leafy do things like he does to people like me and you? And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is he doing? And people are calling him racist, and they're calling him out because they want him to call her out, but he's not calling her out because it's like he didn't even know or something. And oh my God, like it was fucking terrible. I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing with this girl on your channel? Like, you're supposed to be positivity and stuff like that, and you've got this crazy bitch on your show. Here's his reaction when I told him what she's like.
We're going to look at tomorrow. It's a very fine line. We have to have freedom of speech.
Thank you, Smith. I don't know, man. It's hard to say with her. I mean, oh. So I don't know. It sounds like she's growing up now, and like, oh no. I'm trying to find when exactly when.
Okay. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. I don't know what to do here now. Damn it.
He goes, wow, oh geez. That's his reaction. He interviewed her for 2 hours. They were like friends. He was like, you're so sweet and people are so mean to have been mean to you. Like, and meanwhile, he doesn't understand that this chick is like a raging, like, racist, crazy person.
Oh jeez. I don't know what to do here now. Damn it.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. So I showed him the video of her being racist and everything, and then showed it to him, and he's like, oh God. He took the video down right away, by the way. The only way you can hear it is if you go to my twitch.tv/JoeCroninJCS. There are a couple clips on there. Thanks, baby doll. You can hear. My daughter also came down at the same time. Yeah, dude, that's the girl you had on your show. That's why I was like, I gotta get on the show. Like, I was trying to call him to tell him that, like, what the hell with this girl, and I was gonna call her out and be like, are you a fucking, like, what are you? Like, are you a racist? Are you joking? What's the deal?
Jeez.
He doesn't sound like he really cares. He's like, oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. And he's still gonna be friends with the guy who told him he has to have this girl on his show. What dickhead told Tommy it was cool to have this girl on the show? Oh, yeah, she's real nice. Except for she hates black people and Jews.
God. Why? I swear, I don't know if I should take down... What do you think, Joe? Should I take down the video, or I don't know what...
What do you think? Take it down the video. Well, he took down the video. He took down the video. Yes, sir. Tommy has taken down the video. Here's a sound effect I haven't used in a while. Man, I haven't used that sound effect since monetized this 18 or something. You see, use that all the time. I have all my sound effects still. They're all still sitting here. But anyway, that happened. So I was like dealing with that while doing the donation thing for Texas. And yeah, he interviewed a questionable bit. And the whole time she's petting a cat, by the way. She's like, yeah. You can only see the video on my Twitch because he deleted it off his. But some of it's on my Twitch at least, so you can get an idea. Unbelievable. Ugh. So the other thing, while I was streaming the the Texas thing, the Diablo thing on my Twitch, the other thing that happened was I was playing random songs, and I'm sitting there and I'm just playing random songs, having a good time, and I ended up playing one of Triple H's old song, you know, the Our Time Is Now, like it's our time, and then like randomly the singer like starts breaking down and be like, put your two, and he just says a bunch of stuff. Well, we found out that he goes, He says something like, keep your finger off the button, Dunn. And then they keep going. I go, oh my God, he's talking about Kevin Dunn censoring Triple H. I never fucking heard that in the song ever. And it's in the song. Like, crazy. I clipped it here from... We clipped the Twitch moment. Here it is, right here. Listen to this. This is wild. I mean, what else could that mean? Keep your finger off the switch, Dunn. And Dunn is in the back controlling everything you see. I'd never heard this. Unreal. Did anyone never hear this before? I never heard that. Easter egg, bro. Oh, no way. Yo, you keep your finger off the switch, Dunn. I don't know. That just, man, that made me wild. I just thought that was so funny. I don't know why. I thought that was wicked funny. Good morning, by the way, wherever you are. If you're listening at work or in the car. I want to thank all you guys for being great patrons. It's like you're patriots. I want to thank the Epic subscriber for becoming a new sub. $5 a month. So he's able to listen to this. The Epic subscriber, what's up, bro? Welcome aboard. Ron Booth, dropping $5 a month. Matthew Shope, $5 a month. Marvin What is back, $5 a month. What's up, Marvin? You know you're old school. How you been, man? So many guys jumping on. So I really want to thank you guys for making this what it is, making the show what it is, being here. Everybody who's up their pledges, trying to pick up slack for other people. We're at about 180 patrons right now, which is really good, really great. My goal, I think, is to be safe with everything, to be at a point where it's like, I'm not concerned about, you know, losing things, and I can do more and more and more. So we sort of reached that point a little bit because of the donations on the shows and because of the patrons going above 150. That's why I felt, well, I'm going to commit to this show now. And there's going to be more later. And forget about it if I get a house or if I get my apartment or we rent a house or we rent whatever we rent. Because of much of your support, you know. I mean, forget about it then. I mean, I'm going to try to put out as much bonus content as I can. And I mean, right now, you're locked in right now to an episode of Morning Madness. All the episodes of Morning Madness can be heard in full on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. If you like what I do on YouTube for free, check out Patreon, because not only do you get all this bonus content, but you also support all the shows and keep them going. $5 a month, and you can hear every episode of Morning Madness and more. And a special thanks to the $25 patrons and above and people like that. Of course, Morning Madness right now, we're on episode 173. And we're going back here and giving you some of the old original episodes. So continue listening to these previous episodes of Morning Madness. And if you want to hear the brand new episodes in the 170s and every new one that comes out weekly, then make sure you become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. You're talking about a 3-hour corrupted podcast Saturday, a 4-hour monetize this. You know, this happening for this show being 20 minutes to an hour every day. And then on top of that, you know, all the wrestling stuff on YouTube and the bonus wrestling stuff here as well. So any suggestions you guys have, I'm up for it, but we're bringing it now, man. So I'm hoping to get to maybe to 250 patrons, 250, 300 would be beautiful. I can't see that happening right now, though. You know, I'm lucky to be at 180. You know, 200, 250 would be really a great place, because every month you lose some and then you gain some back throughout the month, and then you lose some again, and it's like it's a repeated process. But anyway, so Kevin Dunn was in Triple H's song back in the day. It's our time. It's our time. Get your finger out my asshole, Dunn. Come on. So I swear to God, he said that. So yeah, Tommy interviewed a racist. Like, it was just it's an eventful day today. We raised how much did I raise? You guys donated, people on Twitch donated $150 of their money. I think it was. And I donated, and I think I ended up hitting 200 something like I'm donating 250, and then people were like doing one something. So we raised over $300. So that's cool, man. I mean, I streamed for 4 hours, I think, like legit 4 hours, maybe a little longer. So that's pretty damn good. We raised over $300. That was cool. Send it all to if anybody has a good idea for the fund to send it to, let me know. Right now I'm thinking about JJ Watts. Even though I think his is like at 20 million now or something. This is a terrible story. A little boy died of carbon monoxide. And I tell this story, I bring up this story because, not to make everybody sad, because pretty fucking sad. But I bring it up because, well, what did I just do? What did I just do? The fuck am I doing? But I bring it up because I don't like the way that sounds. What the hell's going on? But there we go. But I bring it up because it's like, man, you never think about carbon monoxide, because what happened was they were at like they were on a vacation. They were like at a resort somewhere or somewhere else, like at a resort. So, some kind of deal like that. Like they weren't at their normal house. You know what I mean? They were like away at a resort. So you don't think about like, oh, I'm at some cabin, or they were at a cabin is what it was. So duh, if you're at a cabin, right? But I mean, if you're at a place where you're not sure if there's a carbon monoxide detector or whatever, bring one. I mean, this is the lesson here. It's just not worth it. Bring it. People think you're crazy. Like, you pull it out of your purse, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing with that? And stick it in one of the rooms, Stick it in, move it. I'm obsessed with stuff like this because of just the idea that, you could go into a place that you don't know of. Maybe no one's been in the place for months. And you're in it. And you could just, you think you're going to go to bed, and then you don't wake up. And there's no way to tell, and you don't know if the smoke detectors have built-in carbon monoxide things. So bring two. Fuck it. Go on Amazon and buy like two of those square ones that fit in your purse, fit in your pocketbook, fit in your fucking pocket. And bring those things out there and just stick them in the place so that you got them, It's not worth dying, or your kid's dying. This poor kid. I mean, the mother and the daughter are in the hospital, but the kid didn't make it. Which is weird, because the daughter's younger, but maybe she was in the room that was like further away or something. I guess that could be, yeah. Maybe she was in the room further away. That's the only thing I can think. Like she was down the hall or something like that. I don't know. I hate that crap, dude. That makes me so sad. Like, it's unbelievable. Just buy carbon monoxide. Just buy extra ones and have. They're expensive though. They're like $40. Some of them, $20. But you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean. You bring one and buy different brands. That's what I say too. Always double up. I'm always like this. I'm weird. Like, buy 2 different brands and bring them with you if you're going to a cabin or a hotel that you don't know or whatever. Because you don't know what they have there. I mean, hotels are usually good. They usually have things, but I'm not joking. If you're in a hotel, I swear to God, bring it. Just screw it. Don't mess around. And bring 2 different brands. That way it's like, because I could totally see like, oh, man dies of carbon monoxide. The man actually traveled with a carbon monoxide detector. However, it was faulty. You know what I mean? That would be so bad. But if you bring 2 of them, hey, that thing's going off. I actually bought one of those advanced ones, like those professional meter ones, where you could go to and like, it would pick up even the slightest amount. It was a reader. It was cool. It was like, I want to say it was like $80. Like 4 or 5 years ago I bought it. In fact, I don't even know where it is now in the house. But I bought it because the downstairs basement, it seemed like there was always things leaking. And I was like, I don't trust downstairs. And I went down there with it and I walked around. And yeah, I never picked up a reading. So it was okay. And I even stuck it right on the furnace, right near the furnace, and like in areas where stuff could collect in different air duct areas. And I never got a reading. But I stuck it right in the whole area of where the carbon monoxide would be pushed through. And it picked it up then. And I was like, okay. So like, the reader worked. The other day, the Joel Osteen thing in Texas, like he wasn't letting people in the church, and then all of a sudden he got all the backlash, and now he's letting everybody in the church. But now he's telling people to like, don't have a victim mentality. It's like, oh, fuck yourself. He's right in a way, because I know everyone is like, oh, I'm a victim and he needs to open up the church. It's like, yeah, that's true, man, but you know what? You're kind of a bitch. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. I don't know how anybody can follow him. I mean, I know what he says is like you're like, yeah, you feel good when you hear what he says because he says good stuff. But it's like, dude, I don't know, go find someone else who's a motivational person who's like a good-hearted person. There's so much stuff going on in space now, like alien megastructures being investigated and Dyson spheres that they think they're there and then they're not, but they're looking. That weird sound we heard picked up from wherever the other day. People were looking at Saturn the other day. They were watching the brightness of the distant stars. It's one of the most effective ways that they have right now of discovering exoplanets, they say. And a team was studying on how rings on the planet would affect the light transmission, I guess. The university had previously studied ways to identify ringed planets around remote stars. Rings would obscure light coming from the star, but only a little bit. And because the rings would be angled differently each time, that amount of light would be constantly varying. And that was, I don't know why I read all that. What the hell did that mean? I guess they were trying to, they thought they found stuff that was, they thought something was a Dyson sphere. I don't know. That's a whole show right there. I think they had Dyson spheres in an episode of Star Trek Enterprise. I think. I can't believe we're getting back into coal in America. I really can't. Trump wants to put a former coal executive in charge of mine safety. I suppose maybe that's a good idea, but at the same time, I just can't even believe we're doing all this mining and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. It just seems like a giant backstep. But speaking of politics, we also talked about North Korea a shit ton this weekend. And dude, China came out again. And I told you, China plays fucking ping pong. China plays ping pong with, whether they're going to be mad at North Korea or mad at us. Or not really mad, but like warning. China just, kind of seesaw whether they're going to warn us or warn North Korea. And maybe even warning's a strong word, but kind of like scoff at what's going on. But this time, China strongly condemns what North Korea is doing. Oh, they're so wild over there, man. That place is a mess. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, the one thing that everybody can, I guess, hold on to is, I'm telling you, man, if they do anything, and I know that Bailey and other people have said, well, once they do one thing, it's too late. There's already thousands of people dead, or they ruin the environment, or whatever they do. But I don't know, man. We can't just go in there I don't know. They think that they should be a superpower too. They have little dick syndrome. Okay? They have little brother syndrome. Like they have one of the worst if you could sum up little brother syndrome in a country. Trump can be like this a little bit, with things that he actually does, not all the things that he does that aren't wrong that the media fucks with. But I don't know. Watching Kim Jong-un looking at the nuke, the hydrogen bomb, I swear to God, he's staring at it, envisioning that could be his dick. He's like, oh, yes, that is my penis. These photos of him are just wild. September 8th, Brockton, Massachusetts, Top Rope Promotions, Billy Gunn, Mick Foley, Chavo Guerrero, Spike Dudley. It's going to be an epic show, man. I'll be on commentary. I hope anybody who can come out comes out to that. New York, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut. You guys can get there. Brockton, Mass, Brockton Rock Stadium. It's the baseball stadium. It's going to be a party. Come on out. So China strongly condemns that. China doesn't want anybody to do anything because they'll lose money if anybody fights. I heard I was listening to a guy I know on YouTube the other day. And you know what? Now I don't even remember. Oh, I remember who it was. I don't remember his name actually off the top of my head, but I don't know why this happened. He made a video about the top Christopher Nolan movies. And then I started getting all these other people's Christopher Nolan movies, like top 10 rankings. And I started going through them and like ranking them, and I was like, I was watching these guys rank them, and I just did not like agree with. I didn't agree with like anything. I couldn't agree with most of the stuff. But like, I'm looking at the Christopher Nolan movies now, and if you told me I could take 3 of the movies on an island, like for the rest of my life, I could have 3 Christopher Nolan movies and no other ones. I don't know what I would take. First of all, I got to tell you, I think I would love Memento. I have to confess, I have never seen Memento. And that isn't during a time when I was watching so many movies, it was insane. The star in the movie of Memento, I believe, is the guy that was in the Time Machine movie. And I loved that movie. I really liked the Time Machine movie. You can barely fucking find that movie anywhere anymore.
You're locked in right now to an episode of Morning Madness. All the episodes of Morning Madness can be heard in full on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. If you like what I do on YouTube for free, check out Patreon, because not only do you get all this bonus content, but you also support all the shows and keep them going. $5 a month, and you can hear every episode of Morning Madness and more. And a special thanks to the $25 patrons and above and people like that. Of course, Morning Madness right now, we're on episode 173. And we're going back here and giving you some of the old original episodes. So continue listening to these previous episodes of Morning Madness. And if you want to hear the brand new episodes in the 170s and every new one that comes out weekly, then make sure you become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show.
It's so hard to find the Time Machine from like 2000, 2001. I love that movie. And you can't fucking find it anywhere. I don't know why. Loved it. But anyway, so I really want to see Memento. I feel like that might be one of my top movies of his, but I haven't even seen it yet, so I can't say that. I actually haven't seen Insomnia either. With the Robin Williams one, I guess he's a creepo. So those 2 movies could possibly be on the list too, especially because they have that old school vibe, like post-90s vibe. But I strongly believe one of my favorite, I think I might watch it tonight to go to sleep, to be honest. I absolutely love sci-fi movies. I love Interstellar. I love that fucking movie. That is a sci-fi movie. There has been a lot of sci-fi movies that have disappointed me. Arrival disappointed me. Arrival was like depressing. It was visually kind of cool, and it was kind of cool, but it was just so depressing for me. I got not much out of it personally, and I just think Interstellar, well, a little bit fantastical and like plot hole a little bit maybe, and a little bit like convenient at the end. Some stuff that you just kind of go, are you kidding me? But in the end, a little bit. But I wish they did a little bit of something different. But at the same time, I just can't get this movie out of my mind. It reminds me of being a kid in the 80s and seeing one of those old sci-fi movies that just felt ambient and mysterious and intriguing and rewatchable. I simply love Interstellar. Now, this guy picked Inception as his #1 movie. And this other guy picked Batman, Dark Knight, and then Inception. And I don't know how Inception is anyone's #1. I don't really think Inception is that good. I think it's okay. It's a movie that I've seen 2 or 3 times, but in the last 7 years, and I don't care to put it in. But Interstellar, and it could just be my taste, but I just keep coming back to Interstellar. And of all the Batman movies, I understand that The Dark Knight is like one of the best superhero movies, and like that's the movie that like set everybody off. But to me, it's got way less substance than Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins is unfucking believable. That movie, I can go back and watch that movie multiple times, and I see something different all the time. It is such a great beginning movie of how Batman becomes how he is, how he can do what he does, how he's like a goddamn ninja. Like, everything. Like, the origin story is, Jesus, it's so good. So damn good. Batman Begins is just a great movie. I would say The Dark Knight is like a really good single. Like it's like a really good single. Like you see that and you're like, that's a hit. That's on the radio. Let's go. But Batman Begins is more like a under the radar full album. Like the whole thing, there's no hit single in it. It's just a great story from the beginning to the end. I do love Dark Knight. And as far as popcorn movies go, Dark Knight beats out Batman Begins. But as far as like quality of a movie and a story, I think Batman Begins beats it. But they're both really good. So if you force me, but you know the Joker. See, the thing too is like Batman Begins. Like you really care about Christian Bale in that movie. Like you care about Batman a lot. Like you come out, you go into Batman Begins like rooting for Batman heavily. The Dark Knight, you kind of find yourself rooting for the Joker, you know? And Batman becomes like a side character. You know, the superhero takes a seat. It's really kind of weird. He got overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker in that movie, and it's just something is off about that, you know? Batman's in the movie, but it's really not a Batman movie. You know, it is. It just doesn't feel... I mean, I think by the end you want to see Batman beat the Joker, you know? I think by the end you do, because I love the message of, you know, the people, they'll kill themselves, they'll eat themselves, and then the people do the right thing. All the people do the right thing, you know? And I think The Dark Knight Rises is... I mean, Bane is definitely a fascinating character in the movie, but I think you finally come back to liking Batman again, like caring about Batman again, hoping that, you know, Christian Bale, you know, comes back and he gets redemption and he does the right thing in the end of the movie. And yeah, I think that was good. It was like the movies came full circle. The Dark Knight Rises was more like Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight is the one that sticks out as like the different, sort of like a different thing, like a different level. But all in all, I like all three movies. I really do. But I just love Batman Begins so much that I would say my top three movies, I think, would be Interstellar, Batman Begins, and then maybe The Dark Knight after that. And then after that, maybe the other Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, maybe. And I gotta believe if I see Memento, that may change. And Dunkirk I have not seen yet. And it does look interesting. And I do want to see it. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick guy. And, you know, right now, for modern day, Christopher Nolan is a director right now that, you know, when he puts out something, it's usually pretty damn good. I'm not trying to say that Nolan is Kubrick, because he's not. No, I love Kubrick. Every one of Kubrick's movies, like, it's incredible. But I will say that I'm happy that there is a director out there that I really like, you know, when he comes out with stuff. But the problem is sometimes I just don't always like the subject matter of Nolan stuff. I hope that some more directors come out like Nolan that end up doing things that I love, because it feels like it's been a while, you know? It's almost like George Carlin passing away as a comedian. I mean, like, for me, like, a guy like Bill Burr, I've been a big fan of Bill Burr for years, back to when he did a podcast for like 200 people. Man, he used to reply to my emails. That's how small his show was. Always replying to the emails. And he's from right around the corner from me too. And to see how big Bill Burr has gotten, and I feel proud, man. I feel happy and proud, and like, damn, man, I knew this guy when he was like, nobody knew who he was. And people even I thought he was annoying, and now people love him. I remember listening to him like years before he flipped out on. I listened to him when he was around the time he was on the Chappelle Show. He was on the Chappelle Show, and I listened to his stand-up, and I had no idea that was him on the Chappelle Show. That was like 2002, 2003, 2004. That's when I first started listening to Bill Burr, 2002. And he's sort of my new George Carlin, I guess. Whenever he comes out with something, I listen to it. But there'll never be a George Carlin again. I mean, that stuff was great. I looked forward so much to George Carlin releasing a new special every year, every month, or whenever he did. And It's too bad that don't happen. It sucks that doesn't happen anymore. It's weird. I remember when he died, it was like, man, I'm getting to that age where people that I really love listening to and things that I really love doing, people are dying. You know, Peter Steele of Type O Negative died. George Carlin died. And there's a couple other people. It's just like, man, this artist is dead. You know, things I cared about are people are starting to die. Like, it's weird when it gets to that point. And you get to that. It's also weird when you get to the point when you start bringing up people, the younger people, that they don't know what you're talking about, and it's like, oh man, God damn it, I'm getting old now because nobody knows what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm lost. But I don't know. It's messed up. People are worried about more flooding in Texas. It's a mess. There's a controlled burn going on at that chemical plant. People are worried about. So that is so messed up, man. I'm telling you, it is dangerous. We have way too many chemicals in plants and nuclear plants, and like the whole world has to find out a better way for energy and shit, you know? Man, now South Korea launched a missile drill after North Korea's test. Jesus, here we go. I just I don't know, man. I'm getting ready for football. I'm ready for football to start. I'm ready for hockey and football and baseball and basketball. Everything will be here. Everything will be here. Utah police reveal patient defended by heroic nurse was an officer. What? A Utah police department thanked the heroic nurse who informed law enforcement that it was against hospital policy to draw blood from an unconscious patient without warrant. They issued an apology to her, but like, what else are they gonna do? Like this is, we talked about this the other day on the show, but it's just crazy. Would like to thank the nurse involved in the hospital staff for standing firm.
Leaving a career to follow a call.
Oh God, an ad just played and blew my fucking head off. Salt Lake City mayor and police chief on Friday apologized after footage emerged of the law, who said she was assaulted, unlawfully detained after informing. Maybe she should get sue the police department. Said they told police the hospital policy does not allow blood to be drawn from an unconscious patient without a warrant. Following the news of the July incident, protesters in Salt Lake City assembled on Saturday to demonstrate against police conduct, the Desert News reported. Rubles has not been charged, and police have opened an internal investigation. Yeah, I'm sure they'll find a lot of wrongdoing in that internal investigation. They don't give a shit. They should be sued by somebody. That's the only time people fucking give a shit, is when they actually get sued and they get jacked up for some money, or somebody gets fired. You know? I've seen people get fired from jobs wrongfully, like you wouldn't believe. Like left and right, people fired from jobs because a customer complained about certain things. I've seen people fired from jobs for all kinds of dumbass stuff. And meanwhile, this cop arrests somebody unlawfully and it's okay. I mean, I don't even want to... I can't even believe it. I don't know, man. And you know what? Cops doing stuff like this could get people hurt because somebody could, you know... You should always just go with the cop and listen to it because you can deal with issues later. But if these people aren't going to be punished, then you know what? Someone's going to start assaulting a cop, and then they're going to shoot the person, and then there'll be a dead person all because a cop was being a bully. And then the person went crazy. How many times does that happen, man? I don't know. I don't like it. Guys, that's it, bro. I gotta get the hell out of here. I hope you guys liked the first episode of Morning Madness. It's going to be every morning now. So that's just a sample of it. That's your first sample of it, I guess. Episode 1.
I want to be stupid too.
I want to be stupid too. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for more Morning Madness episode 2 tomorrow. Good night. See you for the Monday Night Raw review on YouTube tomorrow. Thanks for becoming patrons. Listen to Corrupted episode 3.
What's going on in the world? I I want to be stupid too.
You're listening to Morning Madness, a podcast for patrons of The Joe Cronin Show.
You're locked in right now to an episode of Morning Madness. All the episodes of Morning Madness can be heard in full on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. If you like what I do on YouTube for free, check out Patreon, because not only do you get all this bonus content, but you also support all the shows and keep them going. $5 a month and you can hear every episode of Morning Madness and more. And a special thanks to the $25 patrons and above and people like that. Of course, Morning Madness right now, we're on episode 173, and we're going back here and giving you some of the old original episodes. So continue listening to these previous episodes of Morning Madness, and if you want to hear the brand new episodes in the 170s and every new one that comes out weekly, then make sure you become a patron, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show.
There's a lot of stupid stuff going on in the world. I want to be stupid too.
You're listening to Morning Madness, a podcast for patrons of The Joe Cronin Show.
Good morning, everybody. It's September 5th, 2017. This is episode 2 of Morning Madness with Joe Cronin here on Patreon. This is exciting to do episode 2. I'm alive. I feel like I just did a 3-hour Raw review, like I did a longer than normal Raw review, so now I'm just like, I started playing a game and then I almost forgot. I was like, you know what? I gotta do that show. And I'm like, maybe I'm doing a lot, but this is by no means a lot. You know, some people said, don't burn yourself out. And, you know, I might have burnt myself out a little bit because I just couldn't sleep I was awake for like 30 hours straight. And last night, man, I don't know, like the person I portray, or you see a lot of times, the sort of vulgar, screaming idiot, or the whatever I am, like there's just this other side of me. There's another side of me that's like, you know, staring at like stuff about space, you know, watching sci-fi movies, just wondering why, you know, what are we here for? How can we get to a new planet? You know, what's going on in science? What are they developing? You know, are we hearing from aliens? You know, there's this whole other side of me that goes, you know, all that stuff. But I'm actually like that. And then there's a part of me that's like, man, I just love everybody. I hope everybody gets along, and, you know, I hope we all better ourselves. So, like, that's the part of me that's like the liberal Democrat side, you know, a little bit, although that side has gone crazy, those people. And, you know, then there's the other side of me that's kind of like, fuck, F you, and I'm crazy, and I'll say what I want, you know, whatever, Republican side, and I definitely believe in free speech, but that's what I mean. I'm like everything. Somebody was making fun of me the other day for being in the middle or something. And it's like, I'm in the middle because I take from both sides, and then I take from other sides, and then I have my own opinion. Like, you know, one time somebody unsubbed me on YouTube, and they said, oh, you were just too much of a liberal. And it's like, well, I'm not a liberal, though. And then one other guy, you know, recently somebody stopped their pledge on Patreon because they left the comment. I think they left something saying like, oh, this is just too right-wing for me. You know? So there's no way I could be both of those things. On specific topics, I suppose. But I'm more in the middle. And then there's some things I don't know about how I feel. But basically, I'm open-minded to anybody's opinions. And I've had people tell me, like, I disagree with you because of this, Joe, because here's my experience. And then I'm like, oh, shit, you know, I get that, you know? And so maybe I should back it up a little bit or keep it more vague and things like that. But, you know, it's So it's hard to balance that. But I think a lot of people that are here, it's like everybody knows, isn't butthurt. People like, oh, you know, I agree with you on most things. I don't agree with you on a couple things, and that shit happens. But so last night, I don't know what it was like 7 in the morning. I told this story on my Final Frontier News channel on YouTube. I told it very slowly, softly, late at night, very bizarrely, cheesy. Like, I'm telling you, man, like I had a breakdown. I was like walking around room to room, and I was just looking up at the sky. I can't explain this to you guys because I don't usually do this. I don't ever usually do this, but it happens. This has happened to me before. I was just upset and confused, and I was thinking to myself, like, why the hell are we here on this planet? Why are we here? Why are humans here? Do our lives mean anything? Like, what is the point of this? And I know that pops up with everybody's mind once in a while. But I was, like, legit having, like, a panic attack almost about it. And I was looking up at the sky, and I shit you not, I was just bawling my eyes out. And I was walking around the house, looking at stuff, and looking at my hands, and looking up at the sky, and I was, like, desperate for a response from something. And it's weird, because I'm not religious, and this is, all the religious people will jump on this and be like, you know, that was God talking to you or something, you know, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was me, you know, being awake too long and getting a little crazy. Yeah, but normally I don't think like this. You know, so a lot of times I have this kind of like F it attitude and I don't give a shit. But once in a while I come into like thinking about this stuff. And it was weird. I looked out and I looked up at the sky, and the sky was empty. Like there was no clouds anywhere. And I was looking out at the sky, and I was looking out, and I was looking at the sun and looking at the sky and just thinking like, you know, send me some kind of sign that there's something up. You know, that there's a meaning to this. Please be a meaning to this. And I'm just like, I sound ridiculous right now. I'm thinking to myself. And I'm not kidding. I'm staring straight at that blue sky for like 2 minutes. And right after I thought, like, if only like there was something to say, hey, look, you know, winking at me or something, which is crazy, right? I know this is crazy because I don't like religion. I don't believe in any of these things. It's not possible, seemingly. We should be, you know, we just die, we go in the ground, and that's it. But I'm not even kidding. A single cloud, and I mean a long single, not a big puffy cloud, but a strip of cloud, almost like you know, the length of like a 30-foot yacht, or like, you know, like a big but small skinny cloud, but thick, you know, thick enough you could see obviously a cloud, floated by, like went by pretty quickly, like just shh, and it went right by. And I was like, whoa, okay, look, wow, a cloud. I'm like, where are the rest of the clouds? And I started looking, there was like no clouds anywhere in sight, anywhere. And I was like, and I became obsessed with staring to see if, like, I'm like, was that the sign? So I waited 20 minutes and I stared at that same spot. I'm not kidding, 20 minutes, and I stared at the sky. Not one cloud came by. And I don't know, part of me was like, holy shit, like, that is so crazy. I don't believe it really was anything. Like, I'm not sitting here like, wow, it's a sign. It really was. But it really was weird that I was looking for one. I was asking for one, like almost pleading for one from nature or the universe or whatever. And I got that cloud to float by. I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, it means probably nothing whatsoever. I think I was delusional. I hadn't slept in a long time. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I holy crap. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was like a female after I found out I was pregnant, or like on a bad period day or something, or, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I've had girlfriends before where they just like start breaking out, like, and they can't figure out why they're crying. That's what I was a mess. I don't know. I'm not to insult women, you know, like, oh, like that's what females do, you know. But it's like, you know what I mean, guys are just, it's just a fact. Like, guys are like usually less emotional. Like, I usually couldn't give a shit. But I just remember I've had girlfriends before just break down, and they're like, I don't know. You know, and I know not all girls are like that. Just, you know, in fact, most girls I've ever met are not like that. So maybe I just was with a couple girls who were fucking psycho. I don't know. But anyway, I was like that. So it happened to me. I don't know what was going on. I'll admit that here on Patreon. If I did this on YouTube, people would be like, oh, you fucking gay homo. But I'll say whatever I want here. But anyway, that happened to me. I'm being honest with you guys. Like, I don't know what's up with that. I was like having a panic attack. Not really a panic attack though. It was really like a, man, I don't know. It was like a Lieutenant Dan screaming at God moment, you know? Or like one of those moments in the movies where the guy looks to the heavens or something. I don't know. I was doing it and I couldn't, and it's not the first time. It's probably the 10th time. Well, there's been other times too, like when something bad happens, but you know, like I can remember feeling that sort of desperation cry when, you know, like somebody you care about dies or someone leaves you or something like that. But it was just random because nothing was really wrong. I was just like, come on, like why aren't we, like why can't we figure this out? I'm becoming more and more frustrated by the world. Like what is this? What the hell is this? But anyway, I'll move on from that and save that hour that I could talk about this for like a Final Frontier news or maybe another episode of this if you guys want to hear more about that, but I don't know. Russia told Trump to be the bigger man and step back. Now, if you guys remember, that's kind of been my approach. Like, oh, let's just be the bigger guy and all right, be a, you know, that's what it was, but it is getting a little weird right now, right? And what are you talking about, Russia? Part of me says that the truth is to do neither one of those things. Don't be the aggressor, but don't be the bigger man and necessarily step back. But, you know, I don't know. Why don't we try? What if we tried something different with North Korea? Do you think that would work? Does anybody think that would work? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what if we gave them a gift? Like, I'm not kidding about this, by the way. And this is definitely the fucking liberal, whatever, like, nice part of me. And listen, nice guys finish last. Sometimes that's a very real statement. Like, sometimes you don't need a nice guy, but sometimes you do need a nice guy. It's weird. Sometimes being a bully or an aggressor can hurt you, bite you in the ass. Sometimes being a nice guy can bite you in the ass. But sometimes being a nice guy can win somebody over for you and make you successful or make you rich or whatever. And sometimes it can't. And sometimes you got to find out if it can or it can't by testing the waters. Now, we've tried a lot of threats. We've tried a lot of, you know, that type of stuff with North Korea. Has anyone ever thought about this? We've never done it. We've never tried it, right? So what's the expression? Like, if you haven't tried it, you know, if you don't look there, you're not going to find it. If you haven't tried it, how could you know? Why not try something different with them and fuck with them, you know? Why don't we give them a gift and congratulate them? Imagine that. Imagine Trump wanting to congratulate them on their feat. You know, he can also say, like, you know, please, like, you know, we're going to be keeping an eye on you, and any aggressive threats will be handled, you know what I mean, by us swiftly. So we hope that doesn't happen, but we would like to congratulate North Korea on, you know, their feats of whatever you want to call it, fucking evil. Like, congratulations on your fucking evil weapon that you created. I mean, you know, what the hell, right? Maybe North Korea would be like, what? Like, what the hell? You know? And, you know, Trump could tell Kim Jong-un, you know, I'd like to meet with you and I'd like to congratulate you. And, you know, but at the same time, you know, we're going to watch, you know, please don't do anything stupid or there's going to be problems with everybody. But I'd like to congratulate you. And you know what? You can tell your people, you know, that whatever you want, you know, because he's going to tell his people whatever he wants. But I mean, you could say, you know, tell your people that, you know, because of how wonderful and powerful this, whatever you did is, you know, that America respects you or something like that. I mean, you know, go ahead. And then the people will like him. He'll like us more. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? If you look at the history of these people, chances are no matter what you do, he's just going to be a shit. So, but you could try it. You could try it. You could even tell Russia that. Be like, all right, well, you want us to send him a care package? Send him a care package. From the people of America to North Korea. I mean, you know what I mean? Would the people of North Korea really hate us then? America gave us a gift. We hate them. Why would we give them a gift? Go give them a fucking gift. Send North Korea a golden statue of Kim Jong-un. I'm not even kidding. And tell Kim Jong-un, you know, that you want to be able to drop it down via like fucking helicopters or something in the middle of a public place so all the people could see it. Wow. America, you know, created a statue after our leader. You know, I don't fucking know. Maybe that's probably retarded. I mean, like, it hasn't been tried, though, you know? Hey, we'd like to give you food for your people. Well, you'd never, you know, like, you know, everyone would be pissed here, though. They'd be like, you know what? We need money. We have homeless people here. What are we giving money to a fuckhead for? That's why I just give him the statue. You know, give him some kind of statue that's, make a $25,000 statue and send it to him. That doesn't take too much. Then just see what happens. See what happens. You know, what video are they going to make then? You know, if they make a video like, oh, it's a deception from America, they're trying to throw us off or something. Okay, well, there's no reasoning with them then. But what if they say, thank you for the gift, America. We are glad you finally understand and respect our, you know, dominance in the world or something. You know, well, it's like, well, that's kind of still a dick move that they said that, but they did say thank you and they did acknowledge you. And even though they responded with tough rhetoric, you know, behind closed doors, they're actually probably impressed. And honestly, they're probably marking out like, wow, America sent us this. Holy shit. Now, in front of their people, they have to say, good thing you recognized us and or whatever. But I mean, but behind closed doors, they're like, oh, damn, you know, America was nice to them. And it doesn't matter as much that the people there might still see us as like, you know, the people there might be saying like, oh, those evil asshole Americans. Yeah, they better recognize us. And our leader was so great. He got the Americans to recognize us for once or something, that we could destroy them if we wanted to. Fine, let the people think that way. As long as the government doesn't really think that way. You know? The government says what it says. But if they honest, but if it's a matter of what the government's actually going to do. You know? Like, if their government says stuff about us, but actually behind closed doors, like, oh, we'd never attack America. They like us, we like them, it's not a big deal. We know they're not going to do anything. You know? But in front of their people, they're making it seem like we're always going to do things. I don't know. I mean, eventually people aren't going to be fucking idiots, right? Eventually these people would have to be like, well, it's been, you know, 70 years and America still hasn't attacked us, so maybe this just isn't going to happen. I don't know, man. I don't trust them over there, obviously, because of what they've said, and we obviously got to monitor them real closely, but I don't think we need to pussy out like Russia says, but I also don't think we need to rush in there like the world police either. Some teacher in school, speaking of Trump, told the kids, you can't wear MAGA shirts. What? That's that Trump shirt, I guess, or whatever. You cannot wear a SWAT sticker to school, she said. You can't not use a slogan like that. They caught this on a cell phone. One of the kids caught on a cell phone. Is obtained by Turning Point USA. The Cherokee School District outside Atlantic later apologized, saying the student did nothing wrong and the teacher acted inappropriately. The school did not formally identify the teacher, but Turning Point alleged she is Lynn Orletsky, a mathematics instructor. Jesus. See, I mean, like, there's so much fake news. And listen, guys, I'm not really happy with some of the stuff Trump is doing. Like, I'm upset about it. I've been upset about every president that's ever been, except for Clinton, because I think I was so young that I just thought, wow, Clinton's great. But, you know, since I had a brain in my shoulders, I've been upset about lots of things every president has done. I'm upset about a lot of things that Trump is doing, and there's a few things that I like what he's doing. But the thing about me is, and most of you guys, I know that, you guys have brains, is that I'm not going to get mad at Trump for fake news stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get mad at Trump for stuff that's fake. Like this, like everyone, it seems like the left, a lot of people on the left side, not everybody, but a lot of people on the left side are jumping to conclusions about what something is or isn't. Like, oh, you can't wear that swastika to school. It's like, well, that's not a swastika. It's Trump's logo thing. And also, Trump isn't a Nazi. You fucking idiot. He was out the other day handing out water to black people and all kinds of people. He's not a fucking racist Nazi. However, he is also doing stuff and like, oh yeah, trying to look good and everything too. So the truth is in the middle with Trump. The truth is in the middle with Trump. You know, there's a core of people on the right that are Nazi-like, but I mean, how many Nazis are there actually? How many actual people that would say they're Nazis are in this country? You know what I mean? It's just like anybody that's a bad group in this, like Antifa. There's probably just as many people in Antifa who could show up to assault people with nails and wooden nail weapons and chains as there would be Nazis. It's just there's these groups of shitheads everywhere. I take them seriously, but I don't take them seriously too, because, you know, when you start to see people be violent, that's when it's like, that's not right. Like, that's it. I will not tolerate that shit. Like, if I was the president, I can't even imagine, like Trump just comes out and says, and I know that people see, I did not agree with the media attacking him for that stuff, but at the same time, like, because they sort of spun it on him. But I also thought, like, man, if I was the president, I would come out flaming on this stuff. You know what I mean? We will hunt down Antifa and anybody who, you know what I mean, who breaks up a peaceful rally. You know, we will hunt down any KKK member or Nazi member who believes, you know, they're going to assault somebody or hurt somebody because of their race or skin. I strongly, you know, denounce the violence by Antifa, and I strongly denounce the KKK as an organization. You know what I mean? The Nazis as an organization. That is something that existed long ago and has all but gone away and should go away. And it probably will never go away, but they'll never be accepted into America and never blah, blah, blah. And I would just go on a rant. Like, I will not stand by and see this, you know, and things like that. And, you know, he doesn't, you know, he did denounce all that stuff that I just did. But my speech would have been a little more full of fury. And, you know, some people say, oh, because he's got to be careful because, oh, they like them. They got him elected and stuff. And, you know, I don't know. You know, the David Duke guy is always, one minute he's like, oh, Trump is great. The next minute he's like, I'm disappointed with Trump. It's like 1 minute the guy's mad, and the next minute's happy. And when he already says something positive, people go, oh, look. Oh, fuck him. I'm Trump. I gotta get a Trump wig. How many people do you think go as Trump for Halloween again this year? That'll be weird, huh? Will that be cultural appropriating? Did you guys hear about digital blackface? I guess you can't have digital gifs that are black people if you're a white person now, according to the BBC. Like, what the fuck is going on in this world? Are you kidding me? H3 just made a video about it. I was gonna make a video about it 2 days ago, but you know, H3 took care of it. I'm gonna do it. It's way better from him. But it's like, really? And they were like, oh, notice how there's so many more black GIFs? It's like, no, there's not. I went on every GIF website, and it's like either half and half or there's more white people. So if you're saying that there's just too many black people GIFs that white people are using, then how many fucking white people GIFs are black people? You know, it doesn't matter. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I literally consider the people that are talking like that as bad as the Nazis. You know? It's just as bad. The Nazis are trying to divide everybody, and what they stand for is terrible. This black girl on BBC that is saying digital blackface by white people, this bitch is just as bad as the fucking Nazis. Shut the fuck up. We all love each other. We're all the same. There's no digital procreation going on, you fucking twat face. I can't stand that shit, man. What the fuck has happened? I thought by 2020, 2015, I remember thinking years ago, like, oh, I can't wait till all this shit goes away, where we don't bring up race anymore, and we don't bring up any of this stuff. And sure, there'll still be shit that goes on, and we should bring it up when it does. But this is just made-up fucking cuntery, like, from BuzzFeed and the BBC people that posted this. Go fuck yourself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start tweeting out fucking black GIFs of penises with white people's heads on the penis. And see who the fuck that offends. Like, are you really... Is this your life? This is what upsets you? You're on fucking drugs. Fucking idiots. Idiots. There's actual racism going on around the world in places that you could actually be trying to call out and fix. But no, you choose GIFs on the internet are offensive because a white person tweeted a black... what the fuck? These people are literally the opposite of equal rights. You know, like, most of us don't see color. We tweet a GIF if it's a funny GIF or a good GIF without thinking, like, I'm tweeting a black guy GIF. I'm tweeting a white guy GIF. You know, nobody was thinking about that. No one was ever really thinking about that. But now this stupid bitch makes this, and now we're all thinking about it. And and then you're making some people get mad on the other side, come out and actually be racist towards black people. White people are being racist now. You're drawing those people out, and now we're hearing their voices. And then you're hearing the other people's voices, you know, from the black people that are mad about this for some reason. Now you're hearing those people's voices. So now you've stirred and aggravated the pot. It's almost like when you... Remember the baking soda... what the fuck? The baking soda and... oh, God. What the hell is the shit you pour in the baking soda to make the volcano? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, whatever. I can't think of it. Why can't I think of it? I literally have some in the other... Vinegar. So it's like literally like there's baking soda sitting in a cup, and you pour vinegar in or whatever, and then it goes fizzes all the way up like... And like it starts to go down, right? After slavery, it starts to go down more and more and more and more. And eventually it's starting to go down. And it's like every time somebody like... And I'm blaming the KKK and the Nazis too. Every time the KKK holds a rally, you throw a little vinegar on the baking soda. Every time a socialist, dumb fuck, idiot like this bitch in the BBC or BuzzFeed or somebody like that says, that's cultural appropriation. Then throw some more fucking vinegar. Because every time someone does that, there's a reaction from both opposite sides, right? And then everybody gets in a fight, and then you start getting division. You're helping to divide the country. You fucking idiot. And you don't see me on here saying we should kill her or, you know, silence her. You know, unfortunately, that's her created video and opinion. But unfortunately for her, you know, 85% of the country thinks she's a fucking stupid idiot. You know, most of us. You know, I don't know about you, but like, I was watching a lot of other people. I was watching a lot of black people's videos on this too, where they're just like, I don't know, I don't have any problems with white people. I deal with them every day. I don't have problems with Mexican people, and this is all bullshit. And it's like, yeah, it's like I know what's going on some places. There's terrible racism still some places. And there's, you know, there's black people that are racist. There's white people that are racist. You know, there's every race can be racist. Everybody can be a shithead. You know? But the majority of us don't give a shit. The majority of us just want to have a good time, hang out, and live and love and be cool. But these fuckers, man, they're trying really hard to make everybody fight. It's the troll mentality. It's the same thing that goes on YouTube. When someone goes over to like Ken's show and is like, oh, you know, you're ripping off Joe. Or like someone comes over to me and says, oh, you're ripping off, you know, and then people going back and forth. It's people trying to start shit, and people did it with JD a lot. He was easy to get it done with. Like, he triggers like easily. So it's like, yeah, I'll see something, I won't say anything, but then I'll hear from that. It's like, oh man, you fucking, man, they got him, you know, they got him. You know, and that's what these people do, and then they start a war, they cause problems. But anyway, Star Trek's greatest 50 episodes, or 50 greatest episodes. I haven't looked at the list yet, but I'm going to look at it later. And the funny thing is, I told you about that, and I'm not even fucking, doing anything. I'm not even going to read it to you. It's a 50 list. It's on Yahoo. I don't know. You can look it up. There's a lot of episodes I like of Star Trek, so, I mean, I like almost every episode, but I'm a sucker with Star Trek. I could more so name the bad episodes, like, you know, the episode, or not even the bad ones, but like the ones where, like, sometimes I'd be like, oh, you know what, I don't want to watch that one. But like, if you told me like I had to remove like 10 to 15 next generation episodes, I could do that. It'd be tough though. Like, there's probably really only 3 to 5 next generation episodes that I'd be like, yeah, get rid of those. But you know, there's a lot of ones I'd get rid of in Deep Space Nine and Voyager. There's a couple in Enterprise and a lot of the third season in the original series. But anyway, but because not everybody's a Star Trek fan here, I move on from this. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and mention it. Thought it was kind of funny. NFL season is here. I've got the FanDuel thing going. I might drop $2 a week or something. You know, hope to hit a good one. Probably won't, but you know, I'll try for the best. Hurricane Irma is coming. People bracing on the East Coast, Florida. Hell, it could come up here to me, you know. I'm hoping the thing fucking dies and peels off because I'm kind of getting terrified. It's a giant-ass hurricane. We're due for something here in Boston. And, I mean, I'm right on the water, and I'm thinking, like, man, if a hurricane hits over here, there's going to be... We would see tidal waves. Like, we would be soaked. That hasn't happened in a while, but it's like, we're there. We're on the... I can see the seawall, you know. So I hope that doesn't happen. Especially when I'm like months away from moving. Or not months away, but you know, maybe 8 months away possibly from renting a house, renting an apartment or something. We thought about maybe just renting a house. Maybe that could work, you know. I don't know. Depends how good this Patreon does. And you know, I never expected to do this and to be I just never expected this. I still can't believe I got laid off my job in February. It still hits me. Sometimes I wake up having a dream about my employees or my fellow employees because I miss these people, you know what I mean? I really don't, it's not as bad now, but people I saw every day for, you know, I want to say 800 days. For 800 days of my life, I saw almost the same people every day. And it's like a second family. And to get laid off, like sometimes people really underestimate, you know, the loss that you can have from that. I think I was so depressed. I was a mess. I was thinking about looking for jobs right away, but I was in such shock. But luckily, people on YouTube really picked me up. Like I have 3 families. It's like I have the YouTube family here with you guys. I have the work family, and then I had my family. And I lost the work family. But the YouTube family really picked it up. You know, I had people donating money directly to me, like at the time, like I was really like, whoa, shit, like this is messed up. And people were like graciously like dropping, you know, chunks of money at me to help me. Didn't even ask for that, but it was like, whoa. Just I can't believe how awesome people are. And I just want to do this. This is all. I just love this now. I love doing shows, doing videos, doing podcasting constantly. I love it. You know, I am working on some things, still looking for regular jobs. You know, like maybe a radio job, you know, would be a really good idea would be to get a part-time at a radio station, you know. But, you know, I'd probably be myself on there. I'd probably have to go by Dan. The Morning Drive with Dan Cronin, you know. I mean, I don't know. You know, because those jobs don't pay a lot. 18, 20,000, but that'd be huge, you know. If I could still do everything I do here and then get a part-time job with maybe 15, 18,000, that'd be cool if it was radio. I would do that because, you know. But right now it's, I don't know, man. There's so much stuff going on at home with the kids and stuff too. But yeah, so I hope the hurricane doesn't come here and fucking just rape us. I'm hoping not to be raped by the hurricane. But, you know, there's so many creators on YouTube right now that just drive me nuts. They post once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every month. And they're always the ones that I really love. And I'm like, man, if this guy would do a show every day. So that's part of what I'm doing here. I think this every day would be really cool. Like, that's why I'm doing this every day. And Bailey just said I should do beer goons with him. That's funny. Oh, I told him to come over here and jump on this show with me right now, but I don't think I think he disappeared. That would be cool, though. Some guy just messaged me on Facebook. He just wrote balls. Like, what? Balls. Okay. That sounds good, man. What should I write back? Should I write dick? Should I just write penis back to him? This guy wrote oh man, I'm not telling him. You tell him. Well, anyway, there's more to get to. Couldn't be more happy. I said this yesterday on Morning Madness episode 1 that I'm very happy about Corrupted and monetized this week. Very happy about it. In the sci-fi stuff, or in the space stuff, America's longest orbiting female safely home. And I guess she was in orbit, I don't know, 600 days? I might be reading this wrong. But I wonder, the first thing I would ask her is did your breasts shrink? That's what I want to know. Like, did your breasts shrink? It's so weird because they, like, in space, everything alters so much. You don't think about it. We talk about all these things like, oh, go to Mars and send people here, send people there, and we'll live there, and people rotating in space for years. And we're really, I would say in the last 10 years, we've really, maybe even, just really the last 10 years, we've really starting to find out what long-term space exposure does. That famous twin brothers and their changes or whatever. And lots of other studies. And it's like, there would be years of adjustments to be made if we went somewhere. Your heart would, I think, I can't remember what it is. Either your head would get bigger or your heart would get bigger and your head would get smaller if we were on Mars for a long period of time. And it's like, eventually, would you die because of that? You know what I mean? Like, would you, if you had kids on Mars, that would start to happen to them. Would their life expectancy be like 50 years old, or would it be 30 years old because of that? And is that something that we're prepared to be able to deal with? Like, the first colony, like, hey, we're all going to start colonies on Mars now. Well, guess what? The life expectancy, due to the, atmospheric pressure and gravity on the body, is going to only allow you to live 35 years, mostly. So are you ready to deal with that, with being born, having kids at like 18, 19, 20, like, and then you're, dying when your kid's like 16, 17, 18, 20, maybe a little older? Does that seem right? Like, like, it sounds like this is not the right planet, to me. Or it sounds like, it's cool, we can only go there in spurts, like only go there for 2 years and the people have to come home. And we have to send new scientists there, and that we won't be able to colonize it. Nobody ever, those are all the studies that they say this is going to happen, but then they talk about living on Mars, and it's like, how could we? Because everyone, one person might make it to 60 or 70, and their body might make it somehow, but somebody else might die at 30. And will we start to mutate, and will our bodies adjust to that eventually? Or maybe our bodies won't. Maybe it's not the right planet, And will there ever, there'll always be something wrong with something. I don't know, man. That's kind of the thing that got me breaking down the other morning. I was like, like, it just, like, became overwhelming. Like, could we get to this planet? But then what if this happens? And wow, it'll take us how long to get to that planet? We can't figure out how to get to that planet. Why do we want to go to that planet? Does it matter to go to planets? Do we matter? Do I matter? Does this matter? What's matter? And I just became, like, it became like an unweaving, like, it was like an unwrapping, like, clusterfuck of emotion. I probably sound crazy to half of you right now. But this is the real me. Like, I'm not even kidding. I talk about wrestling and sports and things like that. And there's this side of me that thinks about these things, but not obsessively like a psycho. Like, I had a cousin who was like a psycho. And I swear to God, he was on like drugs and fucking, he would just talk about these whacked out paradigms and shifting into spatial time dimension. Like, I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm pretty sure he's a lunatic, but like, he actually is a lunatic. So I'm not a lunatic. You know when someone's actually smart, but then someone's just a fucking lunatic? You know? That's what this guy was. Like, I know things that are smart. I know people that are smart. This guy was just a fucking lunatic. By the way, I think I'm going to release episodes 1 and 2 eventually on YouTube for free. That way, all the listeners get to hear what they could be missing. What do you think about that? I think I should do that. I think 1 and 2. So, you know, maybe by the time we get to episode 4 or 5 or something, I might release episodes 1 and 2. Maybe. You know? And then maybe I'm thinking of releasing 1 free episode a week, or like a half of an episode. You know, that way you guys get 4.5 episodes, no one else gets, and so everybody else gets a half of 1 episode. That way they get the tease for it, I guess. I think that could work. Because, yeah, sometimes if people don't hear what, you know, someone might hear this and be like, I don't care. But then, you know, there's a lot of people that might be listening like, damn, I love what you do here. So, and I'd like to hear what you guys think about this, too. Are you listening to Morning Madness thinking, like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be? Or are you listening to this like, this is awesome, this is what I want, you know? Let me know. Because maybe one of you says, oh, you know, I'd like if you talked about this more. Because what I can do is, and what I may do, you know, is do another podcast where I just talk about one thing. And that might be weekly, but it's another thing I'll do. So please tell me if that's where you want it. And whatever, just give me feedback on shit. You guys are the only one, you know, I don't know how many people listen to this even. You know, I've got 170 patrons right now at least. And, you know, sometimes I upload stuff and it says like, you know, like 15 people clicked on it. You know, like some things say 120 people clicked on it. So I don't know yet what to do. 100%. And it would be pretty crappy, like, if I did, you know, these shows for, like, an hour and, like, 10 people listened. It'd be like, wow, where the hell is everybody else? But, I don't know. People loved it. People loved the other one the other day, and that got good numbers. But you guys let me know. With likes and comments here on the Patreon app. So, yeah, America's longest orbiting female. Man, I wonder how she... Well, never mind. And real quick, to touch on wrestling, not that we're all sick of it, PW Insider with a story. I might bring this up on YouTube as well, but backstage news on Corbin having heat for a different reason, it looks like. Looks like they were given a concussion, like, like sort of like an overview, like how to be safe and report things. And basically they had a guest speaker from the NFL or something who was portrayed in that concussion movie in a way that he says was incorrect, giving a speech. And, you know, Baron Corbin said that he was involved in the lawsuit with the NFL and basically threw the whole guy's speech to the WWE guys off and, like, ruined the whole thing. And they're saying that that was what made Corbin get buried. They're saying the incident being described between Corbin and Maroon was described as awkward, time standing still, and an awkward moment that led to awkward laughter. It was also noted that this was not a case of Corbin being belligerent or yelling, but a situation where he was this article is written. He was expressions his opinions. That's how the article is written, so they wrote it wrong. At the wrong time in the wrong place, there was a feeling among one source that Corbin would have been better off pulling him to the side and talking privately about his comments. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Sounded like he blurted out thing and kind of screwed up the whole guy's speech, so. There's no confirmation the incident is forcing officials to put the brakes on Corbin's push. The feeling among multiple sources is that if anything led to the delayed push, that was it. PW Insider also points out that Corbin remaining in the SmackDown main event scene, an indication that the Maroon incident isn't bringing any long-lasting damage. Why would it bring any damage? Like, why wouldn't you just look at him in the fucking meeting and be like, shut the fuck up, Baron? Like, why does that stop someone's push, you know? And then it doesn't, but he's still fucking. This is the dirt sheet stuff that makes me want to rip my face off. Anyway, Carrie Fisher, Star Wars 8. She's being praised. They're like, you won't believe her performance. And I'm like, really? Because in the last movie, she was like, bring our son home, Han. I don't know. I remember, you know, it's weird, and I feel like I was foreshadowing this, and I don't. In the other movie, I said, when the other movie happened, I said, and this is a spoiler, if you haven't seen Star Wars Episode 7, I mean, where you been, but here's the spoiler. I mean, when Han died, when I came out of the movie theater, I said to myself, it seems like, and I'm not trying to be like, I'm not lying about this, you can ask Leah, although you can't really, but you could try to ask her. I said when we left the movie theater, I said, I feel like they're setting Leia up to have a really big role in this movie at the end. Like, and I meant the third movie. So I mean, like, you know, Star Wars 9. Like the end of the movie. I felt like they were setting up Leia to do something big in the last movie. And I said, I hope she doesn't die or something like that. Because Han's gone now. And they're setting her up to be a big thing, you know? And I said that kind of like whatever. And then she died. And I said, oh my God. I feel like they were building this whole arc around her by the 9th movie. And then they say that she has a bigger role in 8, and it's like, oh my God. You know, and it's like, then they start talking about digitally putting in her 9, and it's like, oh no, like that's going to be weird. Don't do that. That's never been done in Star Wars, really. And I don't know how you could do it. I just feel like they must have had to rewrite lots of stuff, you know. I would, and you know what? I would just assume rather have fucking Han Solo come back to life, you know, and come back and do whatever. But I don't know. He's not the Force guy, you know. That's Leia. You know, Han doesn't have the Force, man, and he's definitely dead. So maybe you could have Yoda come back. I don't know. You know, they hinted at all that stuff, and the other one's like, oh, you can speak on the other with Qui-Gon Jinn. There's a way to talk to the other side and everything. And you know, maybe Snoke could be somebody coming back to life, resurrecting themselves, and maybe somebody else has resurrected themselves somehow. It was like a ridiculous rumor that like Mace Windu is Snoke, and it's like, what the fuck? Mace Windu was like a psycho for like the Jedi Order. Like, he died trying to be like, Jedi Order is #1, you know? Why would he come back as, like, a goddamn Sith or whatever? I mean, that one just made me laugh. No way I believe that. Just make Luke the hero. I don't know. They're going to make the new people the hero, though. I don't know. I like the new movie. I thought it was, like, you know, it was kind of like how the new Star Trek was. It was like sort of a new version, cheap of Star Trek, but I kind of liked it. 7 out of 10. I think I like the Star Wars movie better, though. I'd probably give the new Star Wars like an 8 out of 10, maybe. Even though, like you said, it was cookie cutter. It was very repetitive of, you know, New Hope, a couple things. But, you know, in the end, I got it. It was like doing a reboot without having to do a reboot while sticking to the story of Star Wars. I'm hoping the other two, you know, definitely move away from that and go their own routes. And it's coming up, man. It's September. Back to school for kids. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your families are well. I hope if you have kids, they're well. I hope everybody's well. Seriously. I hope Irma doesn't kill us. Please don't kill us, Irma. You fuck. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, guys. I had a goddamn friggin' blast here talking to you guys. Again, for Morning Madness Episode 2, September 5th, 2017, my name is Joe Cronin. I'm Captain Kirk. And I had a blast talking to you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for some more of this shit. And I'll see you on the SmackDown review tomorrow if you're there for that, too. Hit me up on Twitter, @RealJoeCronin. And leave a comment here on Patreon. Let me know what you thought about this. And thank you for being a patron. $5 a month gets you this lovely show. And thanks for listening.
You're locked in right now to an episode of Morning Madness. All the episodes of Morning Madness can be heard in full on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. If you like what I do on YouTube for free, check out Patreon, because not only do you get all this bonus content, but you also support all the shows and keep them going. $5 a month, and you can hear every episode of Morning Madness and more. And a special thanks to the $25 patrons and above and people like that. Of course, Morning Madness right now, we're on episode 173. And we're going back here and giving you some of the old original episodes. So continue listening to these previous episodes of Morning Madness. And if you want to hear the brand new episodes in the 170s and every new one that comes out weekly, then make sure you become a patron, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show.